So we've been joking that we're probably the longest running passive house EnerPHit. We're not the first, but we might be the first one to go a decade or longer. And that's because we're a combination of hiring contractors to do the work that we couldn't do ourselves, but also doing a lot of it ourselves. And my wife and I have 2 kids, and so we call it a kind of a family future fit because it really was inspired by our kids. You know, every night that we'd hear the furnace going on, we realized that that was going to impact their future lives. And we decided to see if we could do an EnerPHit. At that time, there really was no EnerPHit, so we just were trying for passive house, and we super insulated the outside. That took about 6 months with 6 carpenters working almost full time. And then when we ran out of money, or at least ran out of money at that point, it was time to do the rest ourselves. So we retrofit the crawl space, removed all the old nasty fiberglass bats, and worked together as a family to put foam blocks into place. We retrofit the attic. We have an unconditioned attic, so we retrofit that together, air sealing. We've reduced our air leakage by a factor of 10, from about 7 air changes per hour down to 0.7. And we've cut our heating consumption by 90%, and our total household energy probably by 60%. But you know, when you start a long-term project or a big project that turns out to be long-term, you don't really know exactly where you're going to end up. Our goal was to build a demonstration passive house because we were so excited by the concept. And what we found partway is that we had largely succeeded with that, but then the goals started shifting because we realized that burning any amount of gas is really too much, especially in the aggregate when you multiply it by all the single-family homes. So we got fell in love basically with the sand and CO2 refrigerant heat pump water heater, and by removing our gas water heater and changing out our stove and our clothes dryer, we've gone to an all-electric house. So we're kind of waving that flag of electrify everything. The only thing we haven't put on the house is any solar system. And people ask us why we haven't done that. And the short answer is because it's passive house first. And everyone that comes on a tour, they want to see what equipment we have, what kind of gee-whiz gizmos we have. And Matt Bowers in Rochester, New York, he says the same thing. If you put on solar, they won't look at the rest of it. And they really won't be interested in all that beautiful insulation that's hidden inside the walls and the ceiling. So we haven't done that, but we do buy 100% renewable. So we are, in my mind, kind of a EnerPHit plus, because we're able to basically, for about $5 a month with our local utility, they have to source 100% renewable to meet the loads of our house. So I think that we learned so much, and one of the things that we learned is how to do this faster and at lower cost. The thing that we feel really great about is the number of people that participated in our project. You know, passive house consultant friends that suggested systems that I didn't know about, or subcontractors that I couldn't have found on my own. It was just, I have 2 pages, single space, of all the consultants that gave me help on this project. Many of them I hired, which was good to help them start seeing passive house as a business opportunity, but a lot of it was basically free, friendly advice that turned out to be essential. So we really feel fortunate. The number of people in our network of friends and family that came over to do things like air sealing and helping taping cracks. You know, my parents, when they saw what we were doing, they basically were too old to help us physically, but they said, if you need to borrow more money to do this, we really believe what you're doing. We did it in the 70s, and we'll loan you money so that you can finish it. My mom was 85 years old. She helped paint. She helped put tape down. She helped in the air sealing. And so we have ownership by just a whole community. And this is, when I think about, is this scalable? This type of economic activity is in fact scalable. We've pumped more money into the local economy. We try to buy from local hardware and lumber suppliers, and we're largely successful in doing that. We hired, like I said, 6 contractors or carpenters at one time. We paid everyone at least $15 an hour, even if they were apprentice level, and our lead contractors were making $25 or $30 an hour. That was 8 years ago. So I like to see that money going in circles and really catching fire, basically. You know, it's still such a big amount of money that I think personally that until climate change really starts clobbering us, like it seems to be doing in the last year, that people are not willing to ante up. For me, the number, you know, we're well into 6 figures. Quite frankly, we've spent as much EnerPHitting this house as we did building it back in the late 90s. But all value comes from this earth. Without this earth, there is no value in the universe as far as I see. And so I don't think you can put too high a price on it. I think that ultimately, for more people to do it, the price does have to come down. But we learned enough that I think you could achieve what we achieved at half the price we spent today. And that's really doable for people that have equity in their home. There's really no financial excuse not to do this because, quite frankly, the comfort is so immense. My wife complains bitterly when she comes home from work. She says, I'm freezing to death, and here I'm coming home and it's nice, even comfort. And in the summer, she's still freezing to death because her building has this dysfunctional AC system that's like flooding her with a wind of cold air. And she comes home and it's a nice, even like 74, 75. So I think that it happens for a combination of reasons, and one big one will be comfort for all the aging boomers that have a lot of equity in their homes and they want to stay in their homes. I think we're at a sweet spot there.